Okay, ready for tip number 2? Tip number 2 is super important, okay? We want to start paying attention. When does our confidence break? What's breaking us? Why are we having such a hard time with our speaking Hebrew in public? And what I've found is that one of the things that really messes with us in our head is really long silences where we're trying to remember the word and we feel like we got stuck. And what happens in that moment to many people is we start interpreting we got stuck on our word equals we're terrible at Hebrew, equals we're never going to get it, equals no one will ever understand me. And first of all, that's not true. Okay, it's really common to get stuck. If you think about it for a moment, I'm sure it happens to you that also in your native language, sometimes you just don't remember the word or you don't know exactly how to say what you want to say. Everything's fine. But even though we can understand that rationally, emotionally, those are the places where we often feel very insecure. And my recommendation for you, therefore, is to do everything you can to actually keep speaking. Now, I'm going to explain to you all the reasons why you get stuck, okay? One reason, maybe you really just don't know enough vocabulary. That's very possible. Once you know, let's say 200, 300 of the main words, you can say way more things than you realize, okay? And that's going to bring me to the second and third reasons why we get stuck. A lot of the times we get stuck because we want to say a word that we think we should know. Either we think we should know it just because it feels like an important word in English, or we think we should know it because we've actually already learned the word. Either way, when we have this word in our head and we're getting stuck and we want to say it, what we tend to do is we tend to be like, okay, hold on, I'm going to think of the word. We think, and in the meantime, the second voice in our head is saying, oh man, I'm shit at Hebrew, I'm never going to get this sucks, they don't have patience for me, while we're also thinking of the word. Sometimes we get the word, sometimes we don't, but the problem is either way, we've actually lowered our confidence. And so my tip for you is to first of all recognize when that happens, and instead of pausing and thinking of the word, give yourself permission to let it go, okay? How is that going to look? It means that I'm in the middle of speaking and I want to say a word that I just learned yesterday and I just studied it and I'm so frustrated that it's not coming out. And instead of staying on that word, okay, you want to explain whatever it is that you're trying to say using different words. Now let me explain how we do that in my lessons. What we do is we remember that whatever is the one word that I'm getting stuck on, I can almost always explain it using many simpler words. If you think about a dictionary, most dictionaries are not translations, right? If I look a word up in a dictionary, they give me a sentence to explain the word, which means you can explain almost any big word using many small words. And your goal when you're speaking is not to write a 500-word essay. Your goal when you're speaking is just to communicate. It's to get your message across, no matter how many words it takes you. So if there's a word that you're not remembering, then there's a few different things that you can do. One is just try to explain it using many words, okay? Or a lot of times you'll find yourself explaining it using examples. That's perfect. Or another thing is to sort of zoom out, think about the sentence I'm trying to say, and it's sort of like reversing in our car and saying the sentence differently. We can say opposites. So if I don't know how to say cold, I might say not hot, okay? Or we can sort of take the whole sentence and move it around a little bit, but still feel like I'm saying whatever it is I wanted to say. And the other place I want to mention of where we get stuck, super important, is expressions. So when we have expressions that we use a lot in English, and then we suddenly try to translate them, then our brain is like in error mode. Do I translate this literally? Do I know the words to translate this literally? Will he understand me if I translated it literally? When we're in error mode, we get stuck and then we lose our confidence. So what I recommend is to notice that you have an expression in your head. That's number one. Number two, let it go. Okay, there's a theme here. And the way to let it go is the same thing we just said about any other word. Explain it in different words. Give examples. Don't get stuck on the expression. Another option that you can do, anytime you're getting stuck, if you feel like you're really stuck, I'm also giving you all the permission in the world to say the word in English, okay? Not every Israeli knows all the English words. And sometimes they might not understand exactly that specific word, but you'll at least feel the flow. And if you want to feel confident, you might need to feel the flow in your speak, okay, in your speech. That's one of the secrets. So your options are say it in different words, give examples, Give the word or the expression in English. All of those are fine. What I recommend you not to do is don't pause and get stuck. Keep pushing through. Tell me what you think about tip number 2 to improve your confidence while learning your Hebrew.